This is not a kid-friendly show.
Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Today is July 24th, 2017, and we got another RuneScape update for y'all. So today we see the release of Stackable Urns and new urn types. So as exactly as that sounds, ruined urns will now stack in your inventory, so that'll make skilling much more convenient as they won't take up a bunch of space in your inventory. So that's amazing to hear. With that, also we have 4 new urn types for different skills. We have urns for divination, farming, hunter, and rune crafting, ranging from their cracked version all the way up to the decorated type, to accommodate all different types of skill levels. As a neat quality of life fix, if you click on an unruined urn, it'll now tell you what rune you need, so no guesswork needed. So yeah, that is the main game update. Really awesome to hear. Now let's just jump right into these patch notes and see what we have going on over there. An issue with hotkeys at the options given after crafting logs has been fixed, so they're correctly mapped to 1, 2, and 3 on the keyboard. The Bracelet of Clay no longer consumes charges, while a Stone Spirit is actively banking ores while mining at the Ithil Soft Clay Mine. The descriptions of the bonus package and sword polishing kit in Elof's reward shop in the Artisan's Workshop have been tweaked to state that they are not required for the Trim Completionist Cape. Mining urns are now filled at the correct rate when using Crystallize. Players can now burn driftwood on permanent bonfire structures. Skeletal Horror will now shortly show the correct amount of life points in the preceding cutscene. Shifting Tombs now allows Iron Man and Hardcore Iron Man to form groups and play the content. They cannot group with non-Iron Man players. Players can now get camouflage fragments from urns, chests, and doors in Pyramid Plunder. Agaroth is now slightly weaker during the Shadow of Ashdale quest, so that he's now nicer to newer or lower level players. Players can now drag abilities onto locked action bars during the Blood Pact while on path system. A line of dialogue has been added to the Rune Mysteries quest to suggest wearing magic armor when attacking the Vortex if the player found that they are missing spells due to wearing melee armor. Players can no longer bank with Arnold in Piscatoris before unlocking the town fully. Nomad no longer ignores the player in the first fight of Saliske's endgame. A cactus patch has been added to Manafoss, northeast of the Grand Pyramid in the Imperial District. 6 new hit splats have been added for players in EOC. Each choice can be selected via the miscellaneous option window in game settings. The colors are blue, dark blue, brown, yellow, green, and legacy. This displays EOC numbers when hitting an enemy with an ability. There's also an option to hide other players' ability damage hit splats. Players can now toggle which hit splat to see for which ability damage dealt in the 3 combat skills by both themselves and other players. Players can now recast affinity spells such as vulnerability when they're already active to reset the timer. Players now receive a message for successfully adding an affinity spell to an opponent. Players now receive a message for successfully binding an opponent. Iron Man and Hardcore Iron Man players will now have the appropriate icon appear next to their name in broadcasted messages. Looting a Golby Burial Charm will now automatically be converted into Techie if the player already has maximum reputation. Players can now purchase Mazcab reroll tokens for 7.5k Techie. It's now possible to share boss kill times in local friends and clan chat or guest chat via right-clicking the hourglass on the beast's interface. Players can now reset their hard mode boss time. The attack range on the melee fish in the Mazcab raids encounter has been lowered. Players can no longer add an augmenter to a broken Zaros Godsword. The melee variant of the Crystal Shield no longer gives a magic defense bonus. An issue where the right side of the friends list could not be clicked if the vertical separator was moved has been fixed. Items listed on Always Kept on Death, including in the Wilderness, no longer overlap each other on the Items Kept on Death interface. Skill sets can now be reclaimed from Diango after keepsaking the item. Camel Warriors will now correctly reappear after killing multiple illusions at the same time. Players can now use the Greater Runic Staff or Wicked Pouch to cast enchant spells. The effective attack range of the Reprisal ability has been increased to 15 tiles. Shadow Nihils now correctly use their special attack when hissing within the pit of Frenesque. The Magister will now cast Freedom when affected by stuns. The Soul Talisman junk chance has been adjusted to 0% in line with other talismans. The Soul Tiara is now tradable in the Grand Exchange. Cuirass will now work on Scarab Ox. The remaining count is now displayed when asking about an in-progress city quest task in Manafoss. The left click option on the max guild throne in Prifddinas has now been changed from sit in to admire. The poorly cooked Karamban trolls within the troll invasion minigame no longer wander off too far. Players can now skip confirmation when chartering ships by selecting Don't Ask Me Again dialogue option. Grand exchange jets for Bandos, Armadale Subjugation, and Ceremonial Armors have been added. The raid's reward shop now displays the correct price of Terralith, Tempest, and Primeval chestplates. The blacksmith within Shiloh Village has adopted a no-door policy. The bank door in Jadiso has been jammed open. The Ardoin Monastery door now defaults to opened. Quick chat text for your deadliest Shadow Worlds has been changed to state reached instead of cleared. Tool leprechauns now store 1,000 super compost up from 255. Leprechauns now store 255 planks. Superior Port's armor now gets its value from its own tradable versions instead of next armor. And finally, the water altar has been moved to declutter the Shadow Worlds area. So if you want to check out all of the patch notes, link will be down in the description below, as well as the main game update page. So you can check both of those down in the description below. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you are not subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.